G'day guys, welcome back to Mango Invest. In this video, we're going to talk about JPMorgan's recent earnings report of Q1 of 2023. Alright, they're currently up 7.5% just in a single day after the earnings report, which is good news. We're going to take a look into the financials of the company and break down the most recent quarter and then compare it to the previous quarters and even last year. So if you can look at, this is the consolidated financial highlights report from JPMorgan itself. All right, so we're getting all the information from the source. We're not going to any other news sources such as Yahoo Finance or MarketWatch or CNBC. We're getting it straight from the source, which is as most accurate as what it can get. So Q1 of 2023, all right, their revenue report was just over $38 billion, okay, which is good news. Looking into the fourth quarter of 2022, right, that was $34 billion. So moving over to the right-hand side, that's up by 11% just in the quarter. And then even if you were to look to all the way of last year, or first quarter 2022, it's up by 25%, which is absolutely, crushing numbers. Now moving down to the net income was reported $12.6 billion compared to last year being only $11 billion. Okay, now moving over to the fourth quarter of 2022, that's up by 15% just in the quarter. And from the last year, it's up by a massive 52% from last year, okay, which is absolutely astonishing for the company here. All right, some other data we're looking at now is the earnings per share. So in this quarter, they've reported 4.11% earnings per share, which beat the estimates. Totals being only 3.38, so they've absolutely crushed that figure there from what analysts were expecting. And as you can see on the right-hand side, that's up from 15% of last quarter, and then even from last year, it's up by a massive 56%, which is absolutely just insane. So really good numbers there from JPMorgan. Now, let's move over to macrotrends.com. Now, this is the revenue report from 2022. It takes into consideration all 4 quarters within 2022. And the total top line revenue was sitting at $154 of last year. Now, if you just take into consideration the first earnings report of 2023 being $38 billion in revenue, right? So when you times that by 4, right, you're looking at $152 billion of revenue if you were to forecast all 4 quarters leading into this year. So it's sitting slightly down, but what that's implying is that they were to maintain this $38 billion every single quarter. I consider that highly unlikely, because with JPMorgan, they're consistently increasing their revenues. Like every single quarter, they're always beating their revenues. So even if they maintain the $38 billion, which is unlikely, they're still going to fall into the same ballpark of $154 billion. But what is likely, they're going to continuously beat those earnings throughout the year. And so I think we're looking fairly good for the end of 2023 for that final earnings report there. So that's exciting. It's a good thing to look out for in the future if you're a JPMorgan fan. But for me, I hold JPMorgan as more of a dividend-paying company. I don't really care too much of the fluctuation in the stock price, although hearing these financial reports is really good news for all investors as well. So let's look into the dividend history with JPMorgan here. So, all right, currently sitting at a dividend yield of 3.1%. We'll now move over to Seeking Alpha, and this is showing the dividend growth of the previous years. So from 2014. They've had 8 years of consistent growth every single year for their dividend. So, looking at these numbers here, 2017, 18, and 19, they're growing their dividend like a massive chunk. And even in the last year, they've increased their dividend by 8.11%. So just, given their recent earnings report for Q1 of 2023, I think it's only really good news for all dividend investors, and I think what we can see there is going to be another increase for 2023. So keep your eyes out for that. All right, that concludes the video, guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.